everybody. Welcome to a very special community-themed holiday end of the year edition of the Byte That Wrestling Podcast. We got Santa Claus in the house. He's not Rhino, he's not the War Machine, but we do have Santa Claus in here apparently. Thank you for supporting us each and every week. This episode's going to be very special because instead of focusing primarily on what is happening right now, we are going to get to some of that, but we want to get to a ton of your questions as well as your favorite Christmas gifts. So get very much ready for that. Remember, we are available every single Wednesday until next week, because next week we do have the BT Awards. So for audio listeners, you get content on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The YouTube channel, the YouTube audience, the Byte Club gets treated to 3 videos a week beginning next Monday. And
a day.
Videos a day.
A day, not a week. A day. And this is all done thanks to our supporters at patreon.com/byte that. For just $1, you can get exclusive behind the scenes updates and tons more stuff. So once again, patreon.com/byte that for all of the information. My name is Juan Velez. I am from the not snowy, not cold, although it's a little bit chilly for Puerto Rico sake.
Piss off.
Hey, it's not bad at all. It's like a solid 70 degrees here.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I guess how you could call that chilly. My name's Keith. I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, by the way. And I guess you could compare that to, like, I don't know, minus 30, minus 25, what it's like here.
How do you live, man?
You know, the other day I saw a meme that it was like this little boy, and he was asking himself the question, why do I live where the air hurts my face?
I've seen that one.
And I ask myself that quite often, especially this time of the year, because if you go outside, all you feel is pain, the pain of cold, and the pain of a harsh reality, and it's terrible. But, you know, hey, I love my city, I love my country.
And see, while Juan lives in a very warm place and Keith lives in a very cold place, I am in this crazy weather area you call New England, where literally last Friday it was like 18 degrees out. Then on Saturday we get hit with a bunch of snow, and then on Sunday it's 50 degrees and all the snow melted.
How?
So yeah, that's the thing. You never know what the hell's gonna happen.
That was Ryan McNulty from Boston, Mass, by the way. And the three of us collectively, if we're a transformer, we become just a giant BT former. Also, BT former applies like things to the past. I don't know where I'm even getting with this.
We would be Bitimus Prime. That's our name.
There you go. That is so much better than the thing that I mentioned. So we do have Roadblock, which happened this past weekend. Because we're going to be focusing primarily on the questions and all the things that everybody sent us via social media, the format for today's episode is going to be very much down the line, straight to the point. And then in 2 weeks' time, we're going to get back to this conversation, see what's been happening. So we're going to do a square roundtable type format for the discussion here. So first up, we do have Roadblock. Ryan has a full review on the YouTube channel for those that do want to check that out. I want to start off by saying that Roadblock was one hell of a Raw episode. And then I realized halfway through that was supposed to be a pay-per-view. And then I got really upset because I felt almost insulted, especially considering how much we've been enjoying the product. We've been saying this for multiple weeks, but then I didn't know the Roadblock was a Roadblock for enjoyment, not an actual storyline show. But the name was letting you know you're not going to enjoy this. This is actually a Roadblock to your enjoyment.
It's just all very forgettable. Like, my favorite match at Roadblock was probably the tag match, but other than that, I can barely tell you what happened at Roadblock, even though I watched the whole show. The whole thing was forgettable. The Iron Man match was, hey, that's usually how Iron Man matches go, I guess, cool. The main event, I was checked out by that point. Overall, just a very forgettable, and I would even go as far as saying disappointing show.
Yeah, definitely. It had a few decent takeaways, but when it didn't feel great to have Sasha Banks tapping out twice in the Iron Man match. And then, like I said earlier with the tag match, that was the match of the night for me, but it was like they couldn't wait to rip the tag team titles off of the New Day. It was like, oh, we broke the record? Get those titles off of them right away. It was like they couldn't even wait one more title defense or something. Other than that, yeah, pretty forgettable show.
I think the theme was, we got to get this out of the way because the Rumble is not this Sunday. We still have some time to kill. So now moving on to a couple of shout outs because we did have the BT Pringles challenge on social media. Basically, we challenged a bunch of you out there last week that get yourself some Pringles, tweet us pictures, do the duck face lips with the Pringles. If you eat Pringles, you know exactly what we're talking about. The three of us joined. I'm surprised Keith actually took the photo. So we do want to give a shout out to Ashley Hudson. Sushant, we do wish you, buddy, a speedy recovery. Joe394, Barnables, and Collector 9000. These brave, fine men and women took upon the challenge. So we got to do some more challenges.
That was the most exciting part about Roadblock, to be honest.
Honestly, yeah. I got to eat some like salsa flavored Pringles. They were salty. They were delicious. They made the show a better show.
We're going to have to think of some more pay-per-view challenges going forward. So we'll have to cook up an idea for the Royal Rumble.
Nah,
I had some BT Pringles. I had some pizza Pringles, and they weren't bad. Like Keith brought them up. I figured I should give him a shot. I still have some left here. So once you pop, the fun apparently can't stop.
They didn't have pizza at where I went shopping, so I didn't. I went with sour cream and onion, one of my personal favorites. Choice. I would have got pizza if they had it, but I didn't see it there.
Yeah, same here. And I'd never tried salsa before, so whatever.
Always got to try out something new. So, folks, remember that every single week we do go to social media, Byte That Cast on the Twitter machine, and we ask you directly what you think about Raw, what you think about SmackDown, so we get that context. So it's not just about us. It is indeed about the Byte Club. Talking about Raw, it's no surprise that we were not the only ones unsatisfied with Raw, because if Roadblock was bad, boy, I do think that they got to get rid of that pay-per-view. There's a reason you don't do two pay-per-views of the same name in 1 year, and this showed it. So with Raw, an astonishing 44% gave it a 2 out of 4, saying it was muh, followed by 37% with a 1 out of 4. Only 2%. Whew. I'm not kidding here. Only 2% gave it 4 out of 4. Whereas if we go to SmackDown, 58% of you fine men and women gave it an awesome 4 out of 4. So talk about a contrast. I don't think we've ever had this big a contrast.
This is the most landslide. Yeah, this is the most landslide victory of any show we've ever seen. And I think the fact that Raw was so bad, people were more likely to vote SmackDown a 4.
So it was basically out of spite.
Well, but it was very good too. It was a very good show too.
Yeah, SmackDown was just so much better than Raw this week. It deserved this landslide. Like, Raw was brutal to get through. That 3 hours really felt like it this week. And then SmackDown, just a very well-paced show, very fast. It was enjoyable, which is way more than you can say about Raw this week.
No, agreed 100%, man. And I do have a couple of topics that I want to get to you guys directly and get your feedback. The first one, this happened at the pay-per-view at first. Probably the only real thing that happened that was worth mentioning is Neville. Because in the pay-per-view, Neville came back, all happy-go-lucky, boom, right in the face. That is the best heel turn you can do. No context, just I'm going to kick your ass, and I'm going to kick some ass on Raw. And Neville, the man that Raw forgot, is now back. He's in the Cruiserweight division, as many people thought he should have been since day one. So what are you guys' thoughts about it? Kicking it off with Mr. Keith.
Neville seems like a great fit for the Cruiserweight division, and more than I did last week, Neville makes me care about the Cruiserweight division. He adds a little more legitimacy to it, in my opinion, and I'm looking forward to see where it goes. Plus, heel Neville is something that we've never really seen before, so it's going to be interesting to see going forward.
This is the shot in the arm that the Cruiserweight division definitely needed. I think the problem was going in is anyone who didn't watch the Cruiserweight Classic, myself included, didn't really have anyone to buy into in the Cruiserweight division. It was all new faces. They didn't really have someone that they were already invested in. And Neville is a good guy that everyone is familiar with. He fits the bill for the Cruiserweight division, and it works out. And the fact that he's turning heel it's a nice kind of change of pace for him. So it's not like he's kind of treading the same water he was in his first run. So I think everything about this is perfect.
Yeah, I think the fact that when he did that, it was followed by a thank you Neville chant showed that people just did not care about the Cruiserweight division. You can have high flying, these crazy spots, incredible athletes. People are not invested about the wrestling. People are invested in storylines, in characters. when we get to SmackDown in a couple of minutes, that's exactly why people are talking about SmackDown. You don't hear people talking about SmackDown from a particular match. You remember the promos with Natalya and all those things that happened. But first we get to the women's division on Raw, and it seems like we're finally moving away from Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. I don't know, did you guys catch the comment that Big E made during their entrance on Raw?
Oh, that was amazing. About
I missed that one.
He said about Charlotte, like
they were talking about Ric Flair. Yeah, they were talking about Ric Flair and the path to becoming 16-time world champion. And then Big E, like off the cuff, said, and that'll be Charlotte in a month. And they actually cut it off, like on the YouTube version. They crop out that specific part. So people are thinking, how was that planned or not? But it was enjoyable and kind of true.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So we're now getting two different feuds here. We're getting Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks. Sasha came out injured, and I wasn't sure how to feel about that. Still not really sure how to feel about Nia versus Sasha. I think that's going to be maybe a fatal four-way match is going to brew between the four women that we're going to talk about right now. But I want to get your feedback. Is this something you like? This is like Big Show versus Rey Mysterio in the women's division, right?
What, with Nia and Sasha?
Yeah, you have the size difference, the style difference. I think it's very comparable.
I mean, I think the size difference is not nearly as close as with Mysterio and Big Show. Yeah, but that's going to pretty much be every feud with Nia. I mean, Charlotte, aside from Nia, is probably the biggest woman in the division, and it's still like Nia is huge compared to her. But it's really like this is literally the only direction they could go with the women's division because Alicia Fox is actually in another storyline and they never want to debut Emelina. That's just a meme at this point. So
5 years from now.
Like Dana Brooke, they already kind of threw her away and she's not really a threat to anybody. So this was the only direction you could actually go. So I like it. We're done with the whole Charlotte Sasha thing, and this was the natural direction for them to move in. My gripe is probably more on the Charlotte Bayley side, but I'll save that.
Yeah, the Charlotte and Bayley thing just kind of feels whatever. I guess you're going to go that way. You'll probably get a good match out of it, but that's really all I expect. The Nia Jax Sasha Banks one is actually something that I'm kind of excited for because for a long time I've been saying they really need to do something with Nia. When's Nia going to get like a good storyline? And this could totally be it. And even if Nia loses, there's still a chance like, oh, she could build a lot of credibility. But I honestly hope Nia wins in this situation and ends up beating out Sasha using the whole injury angle or whatever it takes for that to happen.
Yeah, I think that out of the two feuds, Nia versus Sasha has a much better chance of being an interesting match, whereas we've always said that Sasha and Charlotte have good matches. The problem has always been the story, whereas with Bayley now, okay, we're getting a different character. She's supposed to be the ultimate fan. But once the match starts, I don't think that we're going to get the next level. Like if Sasha and Charlotte is like at an 80%, I don't think we're going to get like 10% above that. A good example is when you think about Bayley versus Asuka. I think they relied on Asuka and Bayley in particular being the NXT veteran, to have the storyline, the standout match. But when she actually had the match with Asuka, you don't hear people talk about that match. So I think that this is going to be quite the challenge for them once they actually get that. I think they're going to have the opposite effect where storyline may be good, but match will not exceed all the things we've gone through Hell in a Cell and Iron Man matches, for crying out loud.
Not only that though, but all anticipation of that match is dead because they gave it away. They had already fought on Raw before, but maybe they could have held off for the next match for a while, but no, they gave us like a 20-minute match of them already. So why are we going to be anticipating this for a pay-per-view if they've already given it away? They could have built a different kind of story there, like they're doing with Nia and Sasha. We've never seen them clash, so there'll actually be some anticipation for that. I just didn't like how not only did they have them face in a match, but it was a full-on long match and really kind of kills any motivation to look forward to what's next.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all we can talk about there. I want to get a quick comment about basically the Shark Tank. So we have the NXT Crash Cage, which was announced like in January of this year, thanks to like action figure stuff, but we didn't just get it till now with TM61 versus the Authors of Pain or Authors of Pain. And now it's making its way to Raw. So moving up from NXT, we have the Crash Cage. Do you guys think that this is a good addition? I don't get what the point of the Crash Cage is. Like,
I think somebody like Vince McMahon bought it and everyone told him it was a bad idea.
Get some damn use out of this
he's
thing.
having like buyer's remorse with the shark cage thing, and he's trying to figure out ways to use it. Maybe he like wanted to start his own like, you know, SeaWorld or something, and he had the shark cage ready, and then that fell through. So he's like, well, we got to make use of this somehow.
Oh God, I would love to go to a Vince McMahon theme park, but yeah, that seems like that's about it. It adds a nice little wrinkle to the Royal Rumble match that Jericho can interfere, but cool, I guess. Yeah, it worked in NXT. I guess we'll get some more mileage out of it.
I don't think it worked in NXT, though, because the action figure set, the whole thing was the cage can drop and break. That doesn't happen in real life.
Well, you're not going to do that in real life.
No, of course not. But what's the point of the cage, then? There's no
to suspend somebody over the ring. That is its purpose. If you're knocking the fact that, hey, you can't kill a man in this cage, I'm gonna say that one's on you.
Fine.
I think the actual point is, look, we tried cage matches to prevent outside interference. Clearly that didn't work. So we're going to just put the culprit in a cage above the ring so we can keep an eye on them and make sure that they can't influence in any way. I don't understand why it has to be above the ring, but I guess that's just more of a spectacle if he's hanging there above the ring as opposed to just locking him up somewhere else.
I love this if it was a cage match and then you have the cage on top of the cage, like just redundancy. It's so ridiculous, and then and only then I think I would support it, but I'm just not feeling it too much now. And let's move on to SmackDown, because Raw, I think we can get the consensus, weren't the big fans. You know, we weren't big fans of the episode. With SmackDown, though, we got to get to the topic. Renee Young, The Miz. The Miz is up for Breakout Star in one of the 18 different categories. We have the BT Awards happening next week on the podcast feed and on the YouTube channel. And I think that this conversation right here, once again, this is before the awards, after the awards were recorded, but The Miz has been on fire. So was the whole SmackDown show. And bringing up Dean Ambrose's relationship with Renee Young, followed by her slapping him, considering she's never gotten physically involved in anything ever. It mattered so much. It was so important. I was glued to the screen. Were you guys sort of with me with that? Do you see a big potential coming out of the storyline and maybe rejuvenating Dean Ambrose on SmackDown Live?
I think rejuvenating is going a little far there, but it definitely adds an interesting wrinkle to the whole Miz Dean Ambrose storyline if that's where they're going. I mean, they made the whole Renee Young Dean Ambrose relationship public in Total Divas, right? So this is almost a good way to incorporate Total Divas stuff onto SmackDown. But yeah, I think it's cool. And involving Renee Young, maybe they have some spot at the pay-per-view where Renee Young interferes and screws up Maurice's interference or something along that or those lines. But yeah, pretty cool. Adds a new wrinkle.
Yeah, like you said, Renee Young's never been involved in any storyline ever. So this is kind of cool. And I think this was their element of making the Miz and Dean Ambrose feud a lot more personal. There could be something. I don't think we're going to see Renee Young in a match or anything. She's never done any type of training that I'm aware of. But she'll kind of be a part of that storyline. It's weird to have it finally acknowledged on WWE TV. Obviously, Total Divas made that sort of TV public, but it really was like Miz dropped a bomb. And not only that, but just using the word sleeping with is a big deal in the very PG world of WWE. So that's why it just even felt more like a bomb that he dropped there, because it got the whole crowd to one of the biggest pops of the night, because you're just like, holy crap, you didn't expect to hear that at all. So pretty awesome, and definitely ramps up the intensity of the storyline.
Yeah, and the whole SmackDown episode had this type of theme where we finally realized that it was Natalya all along, not Carmella, that attacked Nikki Bella, but then she said the B word, and it was Attitude-esque. I'm not going to say it, man.
The whole
I
episode had
be
that
respectful.
vibe to it.
Yeah, it was great because, like I mentioned at the top of the show, it's not about the match without any story. You got to have the story. So the single punch or Irish whip or pinfall that happens in the match matters that much more. And it's crazy to see how Raw is trying to sort of do that, but then they try to just forcefully tell you, you got to care about this. You got to care about this. They made us care about this in here. So now we have, next week, we don't record a traditional podcast episode, but SmackDown is going to have the return of John Cena, women's title match, triple threat match for the WWE World Championship. We have a lot of stuff happening. So SmackDown, they're not wasting any time, and they don't care that it's, a new year. They are going all out with that. And with that, I got to bring up, what the hell was Dolph Ziggler thinking putting his title shot on the line when we knew, like, it was so obvious, dude, this is going to be a DQ finish because they're not going to do AJ Corbin. Why is this happening? Is wrestling scripted or something? I kind of thought about it, but then I remembered Santa's real, so I took that back.
It's almost like they took a second look at AJ Styles versus Dolph Ziggler and realized, hey, maybe this ain't as big of a match as we thought it would be. What can we do? Baron Corbin's been doing good? Cool, throw him in the match. Maybe this adds a fun wrinkle to it. I still don't see the outcome changing in any way because of it, but it does make me more interested in the match just because Baron Corbin's never really been in a situation like this, so I'm interested to see where that goes.
Keith's word of the day is wrinkle, by the way.
It really is.
Yeah. Ziggler just looks like an idiot time and time again. I'm pretty sure not too long ago, he put a title shot on the line, and he did end up winning that match. But he's stuck in this mode of, oh, I need to prove myself. I need to prove myself. Well, you're not really proving yourself as being very smart when you constantly unnecessarily put up your title shots online for no apparent reason. And now he just looks like an idiot. He had a one-on-one match for the title. Now he's stuck in a triple threat. Kayfabe-wise, his chances of winning have now significantly dropped. So he just comes off looking like an idiot. This is why people are giving up on him. He should have retired.
Hey, it all comes down to Ziggler. If you were having fun with your comedy career, maybe that was the thing you wanted to really have. But
I haven't heard too many good things about that either.
Hey, at least he can try. He started off as a caddy before he became a wrestler, if we go according to WWE history. So maybe it just takes 20 times to fail to finally get that one chance to succeed. So another thing that did unfold on SmackDown, but we're going to wait for basically the traditional podcast in 2 weeks to talk about more, is that they finally concluded, I guess, the story with James Ellsworth, Dean Ambrose, and AJ Styles, and now they seem to be moving in towards a possible love storyline with Carmella. Maybe like she wants to capitalize on, the Elsa-mania running wild or something, and she loves him, and you can teach that. So give us comments.
AJ got his revenge. AJ got his revenge, which was needed. That was kind of the final period on this storyline. Was at the end of the day, AJ can beat Ellsworth in a second. But I like immediately following this, they're showing that they do have some direction for Ellsworth, and we assume it's going to be involved with Carmella. I assume she'll probably manipulate him or whatever. I don't really know what qualities she could actually take advantage of Ellsworth for. Like, what does she get out of it? It'll be interesting to see,
without
though.
A chin?
Yeah,
I'm
intrigued.
Talent.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I think that SmackDown, they can pretty much do anything at this point, and they can do no wrong for the most part. So I am looking forward to the storyline and hoping that it's a little bit crazy and a little bit insane. And folks, we're going to get to a ton of different things here because we got over 10 questions from the Byte That Galaxy, the Byte That Club, if you will. And we're going to be talking about that. Plus, we had a bunch of people on Twitter tell us which was their favorite Christmas gift, and then we'll make sure to give ours. So Keith, Ryan, you better get ready to tell us which is your favorite Christmas gift of all time. I'm giving you guys a couple of minutes, and now we're officially going to unveil or re-unveil the different categories for the BT Awards that are going to be starting next week. So the categories include the Chris Jericho Catchphrase of the Year, Best Entrance, Best Maneuver, Best Pay-Per-View, Headline of the Year, Surprise of the Year, the Change the Channel Award, the Things WWE Shoved Down Our Throats Award, that's always a fun one, the Feud of the Year, the WWE Network Show of the Year, Match of the Year. This is the category now. We're saying all these, but I didn't know we were going to get the Byte That Fight of the Year. And that's going to take place in the Breakout Star of the Year. I cannot wait for everybody to listen to that episode. That one alone is almost as long as this podcast episode. Just think about that. Just the one category. We got tag team, face, heel, female superstar, male superstar. That's about over 6 hours of content next week. It's about 6 hours, right, Keith? More or less?
Yeah, give or take.
So grab like 15 cups of coffee. One is not going to be enough. For those in the holidays, maybe you're feeling a little lonely. Maybe you just want the Byte That Club. You want Keith by your side. Next week, that is going to be it.
I got you, baby.
All across the week, baby. You can also get yourself a Byte That shirt. It is available at whatamaneuver.net. It is the Christmas time. And if you're late, it's not going to arrive on time, but if it's for yourself, you already know you're getting it. So just go to whatamaneuver.net. You're supporting Byte That directly. Plus, you're looking pretty cool, and it does come in black. Christian Bale, if you're wondering about that, we got you covered, Batman. And coming up this weekend, we finally have a video coming up on the YouTube channel where we played WWE Day of Reckoning. Now, I have a challenge for everybody. Regardless if you watch or play that series or not, spot at which point something happened that was so severe, I needed to go to extreme lengths to make sure this video actually saw the light of day. So tweet us, Byte That Cast, all the content available on the YouTube channel. And all of this is supported by sexy, awesome, incredible superhumans across the galaxy, Rhino.
That's right, Byte That is made possible by our lovely patrons, and this week we'd like to thank Ashley Hudson, Matthew Zaller, and Derek Wilson. Thank you guys so much for the support. It goes into making Byte That a better place and a better show.
We're making Byte That great again. Poor Darren Young. Maybe 2017 is going to be his year. I don't know why I thought about that, but that is a thing that happened at one point. Now, we got a two-parter. So the first part here, we're going to be talking about Christmas gifts. Some are related to the world of wrestling. Some are not. Because Ryan does not frequently do the questions part, I'm going to give this part to you, Ryan. So you don't actually need to do the Keith tribute or Keith impersonation. You get to read the questions or the comments in your own voice, dude.
If you want to, I won't stop you.
It's your choice.
Buddy.
No pressure, man.
I'll do it my way. All right. So, the favorite Christmas gifts from our audience. This first one comes from TJ Kinder, and they say their best Christmas gift would have to be my PS4. Got it last year as one big gift for my family. You're never upset when you get a video game console for Christmas. That's
the
for
best.
Sure. All right, next
Just
gift.
ask the Nintendo 64 kid, really, how great it is.
Yes, if you've never seen N64 Kid, go watch that right now. Next, we have Liam Vincent, who one of our patrons, says, probably my first ever guitar. I was a young kid who played his dad's, but getting my own was the best. Pretty nice. Awesome. I have a couple guitars. I'm horrible, but I can definitely appreciate an awesome guitar.
Can you slap some bass, though?
Never played bass.
Slapping the bass.
Slapping the bass. All right. Our next one comes from TMK Tanner.
There you go.
I bought myself a Christmas present today. Ghostbusters High C juice on eBay. Ecto Cooler. I've not had that in like 10 to 15 years. I don't know how long.
Wait, that's how they're actually called?
That's what it was originally called.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Ecto Cooler. Yeah.
See, I was more of a
I heard it's very
kid.
citrusy.
You guys had Capri Sun, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so that was my thing. Okay, Keith.
No.
Basically, imagine like a whole gallon of sugar poured into one little pouch for
so
kids.
Like Tang.
Yes. Yeah,
it's a kick in a glass, except it's in a pouch.
Yeah, it's already in a pouch.
But
so
Tang
Tang
did do the pouch too. Yeah,
I had like Kool-Aid version of those.
Keith wasn't about Capri Sun. He was all about getting himself some Tang.
Yeah,
all right, buddy. our next one comes from B. Segrist, another patron. Christmas of '92 got the SNES with Street Fighter 2. I grew up in a single-parent home. We were dirt poor. Mom sacrificed so much to make it happen. Best gift ever. SNES, one of my favorite consoles of all time too. So that
you
is
might
awesome.
say that Christmas would be perfect in the USA, maybe the USSR.
Wow.
Thailand. All right, that's all.
That being said, you know that like I don't think I'm gonna sound old. These kids nowadays, but getting a video game console plus a game nowadays is not nearly as expensive as it was back in the day. Like getting a console and one game was a ridiculous deal. Like he was mentioning, you know, his family wasn't monetarily all in there, you know, to get that, and I can attest to that. Like when I had an N64, I originally rented my N64, the console itself, from Blockbuster because we couldn't afford it. When I finally bought an N64, like my mom got me one, I believe it was GoldenEye and Super Mario 64, and I had to rent No Mercy because No Mercy was like $90 or $80 down here in Puerto Rico.
Yep. It was same here. I remember going to to Future Shop in Canada and buying No Mercy for $100.
Wow.
That's cray. But yeah, same thing with me. Like when I got my N64 back in the day, for about the first 6 months, I didn't have any games for it. We would just rent them, which probably cost more in the long run. But
I'm pretty sure mine came with Mario 64, right? Didn't everybody's come with that? No?
No, it depends on the section. Although, I will say one time I actually bought my
wasn't
PS2.
brand new, so
Like I saved some money when I got my PlayStation 2, except there was a big problem. I forgot you needed to buy a memory card. So for about 2 months, I had a PS2, and every day I would just have to play Gran Turismo 3 and start from scratch.
Man, you
so
had
bad.
those early licenses on lock, though, didn't you?
Oh man, you have no idea. It was amazing.
Awesome.
All right, our next one comes from Barna Balls. Losing my voice here. And his favorite gift was a foot-long, 2.5 pound gummy worm that his brother gave him. Which, Dave, that is a hell of a snack.
I really want to know if you finished that, because that's a lot of gummy.
Them carbs, man.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's a lot of sugar. I actually love gummy worms and gummy bears, that type of candy. So that might be a little too much, but it's still pretty awesome. All right. The real cool X, his favorite gift was getting his leg fixed. It's a pretty big deal.
All right.
Yes.
That's a great gift.
The leg that keeps on giving.
That. Yes. Get a lot of mileage out of that.
Those boots were made for walking.
Yep. Next one comes from Wrestling Plus, a GameCube with 3 WWE games. I play that thing forever. Definitely an awesome gift. We are huge fans of the GameCube WWE games, so we definitely appreciate that. Day of Reckoning 2, WrestleMania 19, WrestleMania 18, not so good, but the other ones were amazing.
Yeah, they were really, really good. Those that follow us on Instagram, Byte That, know that I'm trying my best to recollect my wrestling game collection because I stupidly went through this trade-in period with GameStop, and I got like thousands of dollars or thousands of pennies, I should say, for trading them in. So then I finally got all 4 of the main WWE games on GameCube, so I'm trying to get some of the other ones. But yeah, GameCube games are pretty awesome. So those are the Byte Club's favorite Christmas gifts, and thanks to everybody for participating. Now let's get to ours. Let's take it away with you, Keith. What did little Keith love? Or maybe it was recent. Doesn't have to be as a kid.
It was definitely little Keith that this goes to, but the first thing that came to mind was one year I got a VCR for Christmas. And I thought, seriously, it was the coolest present. Right? I know. I got them cassette tapes. I was kind and rewound, all those things. But the thing that I love to do with it so much, and now looking back, I realized is super freaking illegal what I did. But I would always record every Raw, every Nitro, and every pay-per-view that my mom would order for me. So if it was like No Way Out of Texas from 97 or 98, whichever one that was, I would sit there and record it and watch it again. Then eventually that led to when a couple of years later, when I got my N64, me and my friends would record onto a VHS's matches that we would have on No Mercy. We would create our own guys, and we made a little league out of it. I probably have those tapes around there somewhere, but it was something special. Yeah, no, I got a lot of mileage out of that VCR, and that's probably one of my favorite Christmas gifts ever.
I actually used to, because Raw would be on late and I'd have school, so I had one tape that I would continually record over. I would just record Raw and then watch it the next day on tape while I'm doing my homework or whatever. And that was kind of like how I managed to... And I used to tape tons of DBZ episodes. And like I had like a collection, and I'd actually like print out the covers of like the VHS tape things and put it on like the case. So I basically had like a bootlegged version of the VHSs they used to sell.
God, there was no laws in the 90s.
Yeah. So I mean, you could do the same thing with a cassette and like a boombox you could record off the radio sometimes.
Got to make those mixtapes,
baby. Mixtapes, man. For VHS, like, because I was in a situation where I didn't have cable till I was like 10 years old or something. So for DBZ, like on the local channels, it was in Spanish, and they only played Raditz Saga and half of the Frieza Saga, and then it would go back.
I have a question for you guys with DBZ back in the day.
Go for it.
Did your channel used to do this thing where like it would play a couple of, like it would start at episode 1, it would go through the whole thing, play a couple of new episodes, and then start back at the first episode? Because that probably happened to me about 15 times when watching DBZ, and it was the most frustrating thing, like especially during the Frieza saga where you're seeing like, yeah, we're gonna get to see more Super Saiyan Goku, and all of a sudden it's the arrival of Raditz, and that was probably the first.
You're always disappointed when you saw that.
Yeah, I think Raditz was a lot of trauma as a child. The reason
why you got only those episodes was because like the original group or whatever they worked on up to that point, like midway through the Frieza saga. And then that's when like Funimation stepped in and like did their own voice acting and stuff. That's why the voices change after that point. Now they've gone back and redubbed everything with the Funimation team. But the original one was done by like the Ocean Group or whatever. I don't know what they did for Spanish, but obviously they had different groups doing whatever. So that's why that was like that. But I'll jump into my Christmas gift because we've digressed enough about DBZ. Mine definitely has to be the Christmas where I got Pokemon Red and Blue for Game Boy Color, or regular Game Boy, actually. Because I got both. Yeah, I only asked for one.
Look at Richie Rich over here.
Yeah, I only asked for one. I just said, I just want red or blue. That's all I want. And then on Christmas morning, not only did I get red, I got blue, but then I also got the starter pack for the trading card game.
Wow.
So I was one of the first kids in my elementary school to have Pokemon cards. So that was a big deal. So that was probably my best Christmas ever.
Believe it or not, Ryan and I have the exact same favorite Christmas gift. Like mine. Okay, spoilers. Like, if anybody's listening in kayfabe land, I may be revealing something. So this Santa Claus character, in this Christmas, I found out that maybe he's not the person we think he is. I'll leave it at that in case anybody's listening with some babies around or something. We keep that safe. But yeah, because I figured out, I told my mom I want a red Game Boy, like the original Game Boy, and the red Pokemon game. I believe that was the combination I got or something like that. So I got Pokemon Red, I got a Game Boy, and I believe I got Super Mario Land. So I got those things. Like, I know they didn't come out at the same time. It was great. Long story short, then I got Pokemon Blue. A friend of mine lost it, and I haven't spoken to that friend since. That was since I was a little kid.
It's a smart move. That's a good call.
Yes. Oh, that I had Miss Igno in that, so that I was very disappointed.
Oh,
in that.
I cheated like hell in that game with the rare candies and all that.
Oh god, the rare candy trick was so
I also
good.
had a friend trade me Mewtwo to beat the Elite Four the first time. Like, I cheated so bad.
Link cables never work for me.
Oh,
Yeah,
are you
link
kidding
cables
me?
are garbage.
My friend knew the technique that you could both get the same character. Like, he could trade you Mewtwo, and he knew the exact time to pull the cable out so that you'd both get that Pokemon.
Wow.
There was a
You're
lot of
friends
ways.
with a wizard.
Yeah. Yeah, he knew his stuff.
Yeah, so that's been it for the Christmas gifts portion. Now, we're not done. We're not even close to being done because we have a ton of questions related to wrestling, totally not related to wrestling. And this is all done thanks to all the members of the Byte Club. Remember, you can always send us an email, bytethatcast@gmail.com, regardless of where you send them from. Let us know where you're from. Knowing where you guys are at during the time of the day makes it really, it's motivational, knowing that we have fans across the whole planet Earth. You can also engage on Twitter, Byte That Cast, using the hashtag AskBT. So we got a ton of questions. Keith, go for it, buddy.
Indeed. You know, if we're ever going to build a spirit bomb, we know that the energy is going to come from a lot of places on this planet. So nonetheless, our first question comes from Kane Yo-Yo, who asks, 20 years from now, will we wonder how the New Day won the tag titles and how they broke Demolition's record?
Possibly.
I would hope I'd remember in 20 years how everything went down.
What will we wonder is, I think, the question, right? Like, will we care? I guess is another way to put it.
I think
so.
another part of this, like, will this record still be around in 20 years? Or do you see them just creating this cycle and breaking it again?
I think it's more so going to be curiosity of, hey, those guys had a really long title record. How come they had cereal boxes? Like, what's up with that? That's going to trigger the real conversation.
I do think this record will stand for a long time, though. The tag titles, I mean, it took this long for the record to be broken in the first place. And it's amazing. It's kind of amazing, though, that the tag titles, that the longest record was only just, maybe a year and a half long compared to things like the world title that were held for 8 years or whatever, given the lineage. The tag titles go pretty far back, too. But I do think this record will stand for a while. I think they wanted, it just seemed not right, I guess, for Demolition to have that. And they wanted to, bring the tag titles kind of into the next generation by having a team like the New Day as sort of the new legacy for the titles. I do think it'll stand for a long time. 20 years, though? Who knows? That is a very long time. So much can happen. But I think we'll be able to look back and see why the New Day was successful. They're a very entertaining team.
Exactly. In 20 years from now, we will still remember the highlights of it, because a lot of the minute details get lost to time. Week to week, nobody's going to remember what the New Day did. But the highlights, like you will see the vaudeville and time machine thing, the great matches, the great comedy bits, we'll still know about all of that, unless some terrible tragedy happens and then the New Day get wiped from history. But let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, they might seem a little dated week to week because there's a lot of pop culture references and stuff in there. So I'm sure in 20 years we'll be like, oh, they're talking about DMs when we're like telepathically sending messages to each other or whatever the hell's going on in 20 years. But I mean, you can look back at 1996, right? That's 20 years ago. And we can pretty much recall a lot from what happened during that time.
Remember Castrol GTX and 1-800-COLLECT?
Stagger 2, the world's strongest fat burner.
Catch the buzz and feel a sting. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Nick M, who asks, has 2016 made you more or less of a wrestling fan?
There's been a lot of ups and downs this year, but I would say, and this is interesting, I would actually say by the end of the year, I feel like more of a wrestling fan than less, which there was a lot of lows during the year where I was very frustrated with what I was watching, especially Monday Night Raw. But the brand split, in a way, in mostly Smackdown, has restored a lot of my interest in wrestling. There was a lot of weeks where it was very hard to get through content. And as much as I enjoy doing this show, sometimes Raw basically would steal my soul and just crush it and step on it and take a crap on it. And Smackdown and just refreshing things with the brand split has definitely reignited my interest in wrestling.
Yeah, I'd say with this year, more so than the past, basically since before CM Punk left, I haven't grown as a fan. And this year I definitely felt that because WWE has shown that they're aware of different audiences. You talk about your Cruiserweight Classic. You talk about now them having a WWE UK show with its own title. So we're going to get to talking about that in a couple of weeks. Whether they have really kick-ass shows like a SmackDown or a bad show like this week's Raw, I at least now feel like they are aware that there are things that need to be fixed, but they can also produce amazing content when they really set themselves out to. The fact that it's weird. The fact that I know WWE has that potential is enough to make me happy and be really happy about 2016. Whereas every year I just kind of feel, well, I watch WWE, I sprinkle in some independent wrestling every now and then, and I feel satisfied. I feel like there is growth, a gigantic amount of growth that's going to happen next year thanks to 2016.
Yeah, 2016 laid an amazing groundwork of things to come. And even though, like Ryan mentioned, there were some low moments, specifically earlier in the year, I think by the time the summer rolled around and we got to near the end of 2016, things really picked up, and things really picked up in a positive way. And I would say overall, I have become more of a wrestling fan this year through like shows on the network and just this resurgence of SmackDown that's happened. It's all been so good, even Raw. Like this week kind of sucked, but we're getting to a point where bad Raws are becoming less and less, and we're getting average Raws every week, which is really a step above where we were. So if it keeps moving in a positive direction like that, it can only mean great things for the next year to come. So yeah, I'd say 2016, pretty good.
Yeah, like Juan said, I think since probably 2012, 2013, probably our interest level had been going down year to year. This is the first year where it's an upswing.
Indeed. So thank you for the question. And this next question we got a couple of times. So I would like to thank Cody C. and Peter D. for asking this. They say, Aloha, guys. Aloha. Two-part question. What was your favorite thing that happened this year, and did it make you go, this is why I watch wrestling? Now, as a follow-up, did you have a moment that made you go, why do I even watch wrestling? Thank you guys for everything, and have a Merry Christmas.
You know, it's really strange that they all said aloha. That's pretty cool. I like their coordination there.
Right.
So it's really tough to think of my absolute favorite thing this year. But, you know, it might actually have to be the Miz blowing up on Talking Smack. That was really a moment where I was like, you know, someone who I wasn't super invested in, immediately I was in it. I was invested in their character. I was really into the storyline, and I'm just like, damn. That was awesome. I want to see where this goes next. An easy answer for why. Why am I watching wrestling right now? The Old Day. The Old Day segment was so damn bad. I was embarrassed to be watching it. I felt bad for the club doing the promo because it was like I was embarrassed for them. Just everything about that was terrible. I remember my roommate just going to bed, walking out of the room like, I can't even bear to watch this. It was just like, yep, this is what I watch. This is what I watch on a weekly basis.
For things that I love the most about this year, the Cruiserweight Classic. I sort of just mentioned in the previous thing where we do not watch independent wrestling on a week-to-week basis. I know some of the names, but it's not like we can tell you who's the next hot young up-and-comer. But I love the fact, and yes, there are things to be scared about, WWE, monopolizing some wrestling stuff. That's not a topic for today. I do see it as I love the production quality that the WWE has, minus 50,000 crowd reactions per show now. And I love that they were able to put that into one show about wrestling with a tournament with fans that care about it. Because now we're used to fans not caring about things to the point where we get a thank you Neville chant. It's a big thing. It shows you, oh my God, people care about this. I cared about the whole thing. I was emotionally invested in it. You had kick-ass matches. They treated it like a sport, from the commentary, from the production to the week-to-week basis. I haven't looked forward to a weekly show like that since like NXT had its boom period, like the initial boom period. So that was it. And then for worst, like not to piggyback on Ryan, but the old day was easily the worst thing to happen out of this year. Horrible.
Oh,
I think
so bad.
That will haunt. I don't care what anybody says. That will haunt the club for years. Like I strongly think that they have struggled in the main roster.
It's
and
on
right
Katie
there
Vick level. Let's be real.
It's
not
on
like
that
as
level.
shocking as Katie Vick, but it's as bad as Katie Vick.
It's almost worse. You know why? Because Katie Vick was pre-taped, and they recorded that, and then the world saw it. This happened live. People witnessed that. We saw little kids crying, probably. So that was almost worse than screwing a dead body that wasn't even a body. It was just a doll that Triple H was having intercourse with. And it was worse than that.
And I laughed at it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the greatest of all time, Triple H with one of his highlights. But I have to agree with Juan as far as the high point. The Cruiserweight Classic was so far above everything else as the best thing that happened this year. Just week to week, I was glued to it and so excited for every part of it. Just so much great content, and it really came back, or it really helped me realize why I love wrestling so much, especially because Raw was doing near the opposite to me on a week-to-week basis. But the old day was really bad. Really bad, but I think another club-related thing that deserves some mention is the whole thing with Big E's testicles. It's it was kind of funny, but it was in that like, we're being funny, guys, like, kind of way. It was it was really dumb. The club did not have a good year. They had a very bad year. Here's to hope in 2017 is a little sweeter for them. Maybe too sweet. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Kissereth Studios, who asks, can we please send Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon to an island somewhere and let Triple H make good television and bring the ratings up? Sure, let me jump in my plane.
If it's on a nice Caribbean cruise, Vince could use a vacation. When's the last time Vince McMahon probably had a vacation? Since birth?
The world may never know. Yeah, Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon. I mean, it's really tough because at the end of the day, Vince McMahon is the final word on everything. So everything you dislike is Vince McMahon's fault, but everything you like is also credited to Vince McMahon in some way because he's signing off on it. So it's really tough to kind of criticize him because you don't know how much of it is him, how much is it anyone else. Kevin Dunn, I think we're all a little tired of the production stuff. We did get a couple of decent reactions at Roadblock from the crowd thing, but I'm pretty sure everyone's over it. It's not worth it. It is not worth, those faces are not worth all the other crappy crowd reactions we have to get a million times an episode. But yeah, I want Vince to stay. Because, it's Vince McMahon. We don't know what the hell this company would be without Vince McMahon. And I'm a little terrified to see what it would be like if he wasn't there.
Every day.
Yeah. Although he was behind Sparkle Crotch. So it's not without its criticism.
Mm-hmm. It makes me really wonder, do we give Triple H too much credit? You know what I mean? Like, is he really the golden knight that everybody makes him out to be? Because at the end of the day, like you mentioned, Vince does still have the final word, right?
And Ryan Ward wrote NXT, who is now on Smackdown. So how much of it is him,
Exactly.
And here's the key thing. as somebody that studied production, and I've been in a couple of, film sets and all that, and just go down, look at many of the movies and some of the great lines, they come up on the spot. Or it's like, here's a writer, but the writer heard the person in catering saying something, and then they put that in the script, and boom, that was the one line. Like, it's challenging to just attest to Triple H makes great TV, Vince doesn't, because there are so many layers upon layers about many of the things that are happening that, I have a type of a comedy that I prefer. So maybe if you put me in charge, this is going to be the style of comedy. We do know that. We know that Vince likes the testicles. Vince likes the funny jokes and things like that. Well, I would hope he likes funny jokes, but apparently they're not all that funny if we go by the old day. So yeah, there are certain hits and misses, but as fans, there is a big wall that we have never been able to tear down to actually know he does this, that person does that.
Exactly. Well said. I'm going to applaud a little bit there. Well said on that. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from James B., who asks, what do you guys think of the upcoming United Kingdom tournament? Do you think that this contributes to the feeling of too much content in the WWE? And also, as a follow-up, do you see a future where people can pick and choose what they want to watch on the WWE network without the need or feeling the need to watch everything that's on there?
Yes. This is now becoming the standard of, it's at this point, it's pretty much impossible to stay up to date on everything WWE is doing at this point. So it's really becoming clear that, hey, Raw and SmackDown are the things we want you to pay attention to the most, but everything else, pick and choose what you like. Do you want to see, who's in developmental who could possibly go to the main roster? Watch NXT. You have 205 Live if you want to see more of the cruiserweights. And then if you want to see, the UK scene, they're going to have this UK tournament, which will eventually become its own TV show. There's really so much weekly content now that it's pretty much just, hey, pick and choose what you want to watch.
Yeah, I'm actually not going to say it's enough. It's too much content because 205 Live is happening. I haven't watched this week's, and I feel okay. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I know there's Neville things, but a couple of GIFs and a couple of clips on Twitter is more than good enough for me to feel like I at least know what's happening. They're following the Netflix model, which is, yes, initially, these are the things that I'm going to offer to get you in, but ultimately, I want to have original content to replace the other content, not just documentaries, but you can have Raw. Say Ryan doesn't care about Raw, but he hasn't caught up with WWE UK. You don't watch Raw, but you end up watching the UK show. You're still consuming WWE content. It's a weird example, but we play Blizzard games. I know you guys play Hearthstone, but when you take a Hearthstone break, you play Overwatch from the same company. So ultimately, your money is going to the same place.
Both WWE and Blizzard have my soul. They have me by the balls.
They do, man. They do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that this is one of the best case scenarios that we could work towards where too much content is really a good thing, but it's only good if you don't feel the need to have to watch everything to get the full picture. If you can pick and choose what you like, then really all it adds is value to the network, and the network is moving in a great direction in that respect. Like, I will catch up on 205 Live eventually. I do not feel the need to watch it every week. That is how I choose to consume it. Same thing with NXT for me, and I feel good about that. I don't feel compelled to watch them as it happens, and they're just sitting there waiting for me. There's really nothing I can complain about on that front. And as far as the UK tournament goes coming up, how excited am I for it? Honestly, if they set a bar with the Cruiserweight Classic, if they can meet that bar again, let's go, baby. Let's do it all over again. But I am very excited going towards it. The thing I love the most about the Cruiserweight Classic is I don't watch a lot of indie wrestling. That's my choice. And it introduced me to a lot of people that I had either didn't know too much about or didn't know at all, and it sold me on a lot of people. And that's really what I'm looking for the most out of this UK tournament, is to learn some new names, see some new faces, and see what it's all about. And from that, I love it.
Yeah, the only other really angle to that about there being potentially too much content is really WWE from a business standpoint. If they're adding more content, well, that costs more money. So if they don't end up getting more subscribers because of this, or they don't charge us more for the network, then is that going to be sustainable for them? So that's where we're going to have to wait and see. I think they're really just testing the waters with a ton of content, and they're going to see what sticks and if that reels more people into wanting to subscribe to the network.
Indeed. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Joe W., who asks, how would you guys book The Miz to win the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship while still holding the Intercontinental title? So how do we make Miz the biggest thing since sliced bread number 2?
All right, here we go. He somehow gets himself into... He demands... that Daniel Bryan insert him into the triple threat match, make it a fatal 4-way. He wins the WWE Championship. He's still holding the IC title. He enters himself into the Royal Rumble, somehow gets into the Royal Rumble where, you know, you still get to choose whatever title you want, but he's already WWE Champion. He wins the Royal Rumble, gets his shot at WrestleMania against whoever is Universal Champion at the time, wins it, becomes King of the World, Champion of the Universe, whatever you want to call it, wins all the titles.
You know, I hadn't thought about The Miz winning the Rumble. I don't know if you meant it as, hey, this is never going to happen or not, but I would totally not be opposed to a heel, a winner, and then getting the opportunity, because like one of the last ones that we got was Alberto Del Rio. No, that was a really bad idea. So what I would actually like to see The Miz do, and this is not within the realm of impossibility, this could happen, is that this whole thing that he's been doing is breaking the fourth wall. So Renee Young, relationship with Dean Ambrose, applies so much logic from like Twitter to everything. The Miz is a marketable contender, a marketable superstar, marketable champion. Daniel Bryan cannot ignore that, because if he wants more eyeballs on SmackDown Live, he's got to get the person that gets that ball rolling. So he basically gives himself a number one contendership opportunity, contendership, not a T, contendership opportunity, and then he eventually gets that. So I do think that should be the character way of doing it, not the Rumble entry. But from a marketing standpoint, of course you would have him do that. And if anything, Daniel Bryan would have a bigger reason to be upset, because he can't be wrong. You can't. There's strength in numbers. You do that. Otherwise, I do think that you should have him go down the... wasn't The Miz one of the people that hit himself under the ring during the Rumble? Like, he didn't win it ultimately,
but I think
like
he something did. The Miz would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least like Alberto Del Rio, a couple of people have done it. He should totally do that. Like, he has enough... He doesn't feel like The Miz 2 years ago. He feels like The Miz that should become champion, that should be the top face on one of the top faces on SmackDown Live. So they should go down that route and not be afraid to do it. People are going to hate it at first, but he is so damn entertaining, you can't help but finally give him that shot. That's not that terrible match that happened at WrestleMania, where really it was about The Rock.
So just to present another scenario, for the sake of argument, here's how I would have it go down. The Miz is in a triple threat title match for the WWE Championship, almost like the same way that he attacked Dean this week. He hides around the ring, comes in, takes his opportunity, wins the title. So now Miz is WWE Champion and Intercontinental Champion. Money in the Bank time. Miz isn't in the Money in the Bank Raw match, but he comes down and takes the briefcase anyway. So now Miz becomes Mr. Money in the Bank on Raw. Opportunity strikes, Miz cashes in. So now he is both heavyweight champions and Intercontinental Champion.
Jeebus.
Right? That's how Miz is champion of the universe.
Then he goes on a diet, invades 205 Live, wins that title, then wins the SmackDown Women's Championship by becoming Mizalina, and then wins the Raw one. Then Roman Reigns challenges him for all the titles. by putting his U.S. title on the line. One Superman punch, Roman Reigns wins all the titles.
Except that you would need the Miz to become a citizen of the United Kingdom first and then win the upcoming United Kingdom title. Throw that in there, and I think you've got money. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Barnaballs, who asks, this question is mainly aimed at Juan, but what has your guys' favorite Byte That stream been this year? In his opinion, it was the Fight Night stream.
Yeah, so we had a couple streams.
Besides okay, that was my question. Besides the Fight Night stream,
I think that
this year?
We forget that. I know that press pause is like a separate thing, but I think that I would like to think people think that it's part of the same universe, and that's what he implies.
It's in the same kayfabe.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the same
multiverse.
galaxy. So, I do stream on Press Pause. As a matter of fact, just a quick plug there at the end. I was nominated for Puerto Rico Streaming Personality. I was not expecting this at all. I'm like the only one that's nominated that streams basically exclusively in English, which is even weirder for Puerto Rico Streaming Personality. So if you guys want to vote, let's make this happen.
Rock the vote,
Club.
fools.
Yeah,
let's make one win.
Go to info-gamers.com. The website is in Spanish, but right there you will see Info Gamer Awards, and then just scroll down, you'll see my name. You'll see my full name.
I found it.
Google
I don't know
has
Spanish,
translate.
and I found it.
Exactly. So go there. You can vote every day. I don't know how long this is going for. It probably says it somewhere. Okay, it says the first week of January. I just clarified that information right now. So yeah, if you want to make that happen. As far as streams, the Fight Night one was amazing. I still think that it was one of the most enjoyable times that we've had, not in streaming, not just in Fight Night, but in Byte That. Aside from that, I really enjoyed streaming Shadow of the Colossus. That's probably the game I've enjoyed the most streaming. But Fight Night, oh man.
Yeah, Fight Night was great for sure. I don't think anything tops that. I did do an Ocarina of Time stream. Got halfway through the game. Someday I will finish that. But yeah, no, nothing tops the Fight Night stream. I did enjoy your Shadow of the Colossus stream though. I tuned in as much as I could for that one.
Yeah, nothing beats that Fight Night stream. It was so good. Oh god, the debut of that last episode was one of my favorite things that we've done, honestly. But another one that I'd like to mention is I know, Ryan, you did this a couple of times. What was that game where it's like Google Maps?
Oh, GeoGuessr.
GeoGuessr. When we had a bunch of people trying to guess where things were. That was some good times. We should do a GeoGuessr stream sometime.
And don't
soon.
forget that we are going to be having a 12-hour wrestling video game stream per one of our patron goals. We're working on the behind the scenes. I just can't talk today. The behind the scenes aspect of those things. So early 2017, we're going to get a 12-hour wrestling video game stream on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Byte That is the channel that you want to follow. And yeah, we're going to get a bunch of wrestling games going on.
And maybe some GeoGuessr might sneak its way in there.
I would not mind that at all. At all.
All right, so thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Promo Neil, who asks, hey, hi. My question for this week is, what's your favorite pyro effect during an entrance? Mine would be Kurt Angle when he would raise his arms on the ramp and the pyro would go on for a while. Also, a follow-up question not related to wrestling, but if you could sit on Santa's lap and ask him for a Christmas present, what would you ask him for? So Santa KFAB's back on here.
Favorite pyro? There's a lot of good ones. Probably one of my personal favorites was just the Evolution / Randy Orton, like golden kind of spark. Golden shower. Do we really want to call it that?
What else could you call it?
Sparkles, sparklies.
Shower.
Golden shower.
A shower of sparklies that happen to be golden?
What about the Santa's lap? You're sitting on Santa's lap, Ryan. First of all, it's weird. You're like 27 years old, man. Get over yourself. But you're still doing that. What do you ask him for?
Guys, I took a picture with Santa this year. It's never seeing the light of day, but I have.
Dude, you cannot say that.
That was dangerous to bring that up then.
Well, oh my God, I need to see that.
I'll show you.
You'll see.
You know, I honestly don't even know what I would ask for. Maybe just some stuff for my car. I need to get some new tires on my car. And
Welcome to being an adult.
That's so freaking boring. Because I don't like. I like my car. I don't even think I need like a better car. My car is pretty serviceable. I like. There's, I don't have PS4 or Xbox One, but I'm like, would I even play them that much if I got them? I'd play them a little bit, I'm super boring, guys. I'm sorry. I'd ask for money. I'd be like, saying, I need some money, man. You gotta hit me up.
Hit me up, baby.
Let's see here. For me, the Pyro, I'm a big fan of the Dudley Boys one just because it's not just the Pyro, but the camera angle. It was always where they pointed it to the right, and then as the Pyro was going down, the camera was zooming into the left side. You get the sound. The crowd knows exactly what's going to happen. Then you get the theme song. I love that combination. But Kurt Angle, that is an exceptional pick. As far as gift from Santa, I'm sitting on his lap, sitting on the right leg, just to be more specific right now, just so everybody can get that visual quality.
Oh,
yeah, he's not very happy right now. But I would ask him for fiber internet. The idea of having 1 gigabyte download, or 1 gigabit download, 1 gigabit upload is insane. There is some fiber internet being installed in Puerto Rico, but it's nowhere near our area, and it's not going to happen because it's not very cost effective. But imagine the streams and uploading. Like it's been taking me like 2 weeks to upload all the videos for next week for the BT Awards on YouTube. It would take me like 1 minute to upload all of them per that internet.
For Pyro, when Kane is good, his Pyro just adds to the entire scenario of it. Like when Kane was in his, just took off his mask, basically killing Shane McMahon on a weekly basis. When he would come in, he'd do the Pyro, you knew shit was on. Like, it's about to get crazy up in here. So that's probably when Kane's good, his Pyro is my favorite of all time. And what would I ask Santa for? Fantastic question.
And new heart.
Honestly, yeah, you know what? I like that answer. I would ask Santa for my soul back because I've lost it somewhere along the way.
Years
and
ago.
if he could give it back to me, that would be great. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Whichever 17, who asks, who will win Tag Team Gold first in 2017? Breezango or the Shining Stars?
Can neither be the answer.
Yeah.
I hope it's Breezango because I actually like them. I'll put it that way. They definitely have the most potential of the two teams. The Shining Stars, they're talented wrestlers, but their gimmick really doesn't bring much to the table. The Breezango thing has a ton of potential to go somewhere. The whole fashion police thing, I like it. They're both very entertaining. He should stay as Fandango. Nobody wants to see Johnny Curtis ever. So Breezango is my answer.
Aside from that last part, I completely agree with what you said. I think Breezango should be it. But ideally, I would have a Mike Dalton and Johnny Curtis reunion just to be super smarky right now. But bring back Johnny Curtis, man. Let's get crazy and weird. And the Shining Stars, que se vayan pa'l carajo. Me tiran por el techo.
Yeah, what Juan said. But the answer to this realistically is probably never. Either, none will win. But I mean, Breezango would be the better of the two. I care more about Breezango than the Shining Stars, but that's not a very high bar. So, yeah. Thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Melvin G, who asks, if you had to pick one superstar's theme, past or present, to be the soundtrack of your life, which would it be and why?
Soundtrack of your life, as in when you walk into a place?
Or even just like, you know how at the end of the movie sometimes they do a montage of events?
Okay.
What would be playing in the background?
Do you have an idea? I think I need a couple of seconds for this.
I would probably go with Randy Orton's theme. The voices in his head that counsel him and understand. I dig it. And to be more specific, there's a version of that theme that was used at WrestleMania 30 that was actually just released on the WWE Uncaged soundtrack. And if you haven't given that a listen, it's on Spotify. It's so good. They finally put up Dan Severn's theme, which is a strong second contender to this answer. But there's an acoustic version of Randy Orton's theme that was used at WrestleMania 30. I would choose that one specifically because it's so good.
Was that when they did that and like they did Batista's as well, right?
Yeah,
those
Batista's is also on there as well.
Oh, I'll have to hear those because I remember those being pretty awesome promos. Anyway, for mine, I would pick an instrumental theme because if I have to listen to it all the freaking time, I'm going to get really sick of it. And I'm less likely to get sick of something if it doesn't have lyrics in it. So it's going to sound weird, but I'd probably pick Jack Swagger's theme. Jack Swagger is an awesome theme.
Jack Swagger has an awesome theme.
His theme is awesome, and it's way better than Jack Swagger. So
Agreed.
I would pick that
theme. Was my alarm for a very long time, just because I'd love to wake up to that every morning.
It's Murica AF, man.
That it is, and I'm not even American. I would also say that Mr. Ass's theme would be a good runner-up for you.
I would totally agree for that for Mr. McNulty. For me, I got a couple
Sonny
of different picks.
Siaki's TNA theme, right?
Oh my God, no. No. Don't know. I'm going to have to go with Simon Dean is always my pick. I always like that.
Dude, Simon Dean is like 50% of your answers for everything.
He is, man. I love the Simon system. I believe in the Simon system.
It's like all coming together that you don't go a week without mentioning Simon Dean.
You are fighting that fight, and somebody has to do it.
Yeah, somebody's got to keep track of that now, the Dean tracker. But if it's not that, I had another one that I was going to say, but then I remembered Simon Dean and everything else became a blur. But I'm going to have to say either that or, damn it, I forgot the other one. I had an actual answer. Not that one's not an actual answer because the Simon Dean one's good. I'm going to go with DDPs as well, just because it's like I basically get away with a ripoff of Smells Like Teen Spirit. So that feels like that would be good. I'm going to remember at some point my actual answer, just interrupt what's happening at that moment.
That's
so
fair.
Just give me a second.
Chris Jericho's WCW theme would be another good one because it's basically just even flow, an instrumental of it. So thank you for the question. Got a little burp going on there. Our next one comes in from TMK Tanner, who asks, why are those Pop-Tart commercials so damn creepy?
I don't know.
Commercials? All right.
Is it the one that's like crazy good or whatever?
I have no context for them because I've yet to have Pop-Tarts. I think I mentioned that like about a month ago.
You've never eaten a Pop-Tart?
No, not a single one. Not a single one. Nope. None of them.
All right.
Wow. That was like all I ate for lunch during high school.
I know.
Which was probably not good, but yeah.
Like that 2-pack, you just bring it, the chocolate ones. Oh, the chocolate ones.
And I'd always get them in college at the vending machine, not because I liked them more than like a candy bar, but because I was hungry and I was like, for $1, this is the most value. Like, it's the most amount of food for me to eat right now.
It's a good investment.
Maybe
So,
we
yeah,
should
best
make that.
flavors.
Because honestly, I wasn't a big fan of heated up Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, I almost never heated them up, but the brown sugar, the fudge, and the s'mores, those are the three best.
We're going to have to
wasn't
make
a
that
fan
the
of the
Rumble
s'mores.
snack. The snack for the Rumble, so I finally get to have one. Oh,
I hope we do something better.
I remember the theme. The Rock's Hollywood theme.
That was your answer?
Yeah, that was like the other
That
answer.
was my favorite Pop-Tart, too.
Yeah.
The Rock's favorite theme. The Rock's theme.
That's too majestic for you. I love you, but I don't think that would fit. The curtain wouldn't match the drape there.
Let me believe in me. Let me believe in me.
Fine, I'll let you have that one. So thank you for the question. To keep on the topic of food, our next question comes from Collector9000, who asks, what is the best WWE food item you can think of, and what is one that hasn't been made yet, but should?
Bootios. The best WWE food item. I had the ice cream bars back in the day. They were okay. At least Bootio's is just Lucky Charms, so you know it's good.
Hard to screw that up.
I've never had any kind of wrestling food, really, so I don't know what I can say.
Yeah, you had JR's jerky.
I mean, they sell at WWE.com, I guess, so yeah.
It counts.
It's beef jerky, for those who don't know. I reviewed it. It's up on the YouTube channel. It's all right. I love beef jerky. Not the best beef jerky. It's overly dry. I know beef jerky is supposed to be dry. This is even drier than that.
It's gonna be so
big fan
dry.
of it. Dry.
I know this isn't WWE related, but I basically consider Slim Jims to be a part of the Macho Man Randy Savage, so I have to go with
Chef
Slim
Boyardee,
Jim.
right?
Oh yeah, I guess Chef Boyardee would count too, with those like commercials. If you want to talk about Kane's Pyro, let's talk about Kane's Chef Boyardee commercial where Chef Boyardee turns into Kane's Pyro. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, what should be made?
Okay, so whenever... So actually like a Pringles type thing, real talk. Like, I'm thinking it should be something that should complement the WWE watching experience.
It should be Mick Foley's cheap pop, because once you cheap pop, you just can't stop. Boom!
Mick Foley's cheap popcorn.
Huh?
There you go. And then you put Becky Lynch somewhere, because I know she loves the pun, so at some point you get that. I don't know. But it feels like it should be maybe popcorn, yeah? That's not a bad idea. Maybe some chip variation.
Yeah,
Yep, I got no puns
It's
there.
really tough.
I tried.
Yeah, puns are not coming to us today.
Seth
Twizzlers?
Tootsie Rollins? Huh?
That was pretty brutal.
Yeah, we need to
Something
move on.
about fruit roll-ups. Something with fruit roll-ups. Seth Rollins? I don't know.
All right, so thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from
Schoolboy
Ashley
fruit roll-ups.
H. Ashley H asks the next question. I'll give you that one. That one was pretty good. And she asks, you must sing part of this question like John Cena's theme. So here we go. If it all ended tomorrow, what will it say when you lay your ass down for the 3-second tan? Property. So what
that
would
was
you
a
say
question?
if you're yeah? What would you say if you got your ass laid down for the 3-second tan? Would you be like, oh no?
I'd be like, a 3-second tan, man. I'm still white as hell. That was not long enough for a tan. I'm not paying for this tan because it was not what I paid for. It needs to be longer than 3 seconds for it to work. And I'm probably going to get a sunburn. I'm not going to get a tan. So this is just a bad idea altogether.
If you get a sunburn in 3 seconds, wow.
I've gotten sunburns on cloudy days. I wouldn't put it past me.
That's impressive.
I just tell them I don't need 3 seconds. I need 5, man, to get that nice proper tan going, Biggie style.
Biggie style.
No, that's a whole nother thing.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Yeah, you know,
man.
a 3-second tan. Well, you know, I'd really like the laying down part because it sounds like a solid nap. But how much of a nap can you really get in 3 seconds? It's yeah, so there's your nap, basically, just right there. And tans are cool. I go tanning sometimes.
I've never tanned, but I mean,
do you
tropical.
wear a Speedo?
Oh, Nope.
He goes full commando.
There are weeks where I don't see the sun. Tanning can be very beneficial for that because sometimes you miss the sun and the heat. And when you live in frozen hell, it's great.
naked.
Just going. I'm so commando. Arnold Schwarzenegger would be proud. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from B. Segrist, who asks, Merry Christmas, men. Merry Christmas to you.
Yes.
Here's a couple of Christmas-related questions. What is your favorite Christmas snack? Let's lightning round this. So, what is your favorite Christmas snack?
Wait,
Cookies.
lightning round. Okay, so Ryan, Keith, and me, I guess. Cookies.
Sure.
Coquito. For the context, that's Puerto Rican eggnog.
I tried this cookie this year that a coworker made that was like an eggnog cookie, and it blew my freaking mind.
Oh,
and
that
it is
sounds
my new
good.
favorite. It's so good. It's like a shortbread cookie with eggnog on top of it in like an icing. Game changer. All right,
One
not
has
very
his
lightning
face
round.
on right now.
All right,
Sounds so good.
favorite Christmas movie.
Home Alone.
Home
The
Alone
first one.
2 or Elf.
Die Hard. The best gift to give or receive.
Careful now.
I don't even know where to go with this.
All right. The best gift that you can give somebody close to you is to spend a time with them at Christmas, because life shouldn't be or love shouldn't be created by these material goods. It should be showed by how much you care about someone. So really the best gift you can give is spending time with family and friends over this holiday season.
Never mind that shit. Give him a car.
That is the most human thing Keith has ever said. I would actually take that one step further. If you want to give somebody a gift, have it be like, in my case, I love baking desserts and all that. So like for my close family and all that, I bake cheesecakes and cakes and all that. So it's made by me, right? So it's not just something you can buy somewhere, and I make that based on their preferences. And to receive, honestly, basically the same thing. I'm a pretty
Something
easy person to
personal
satisfy.
definitely goes a long
Yeah.
way. That it's not just something they bought, something they put effort into. It means more.
Agreed. So thank you for the questions. Our next one comes in from USC Punk 88. And I'm going to direct this one towards Ryan. Actually, no, Juan, you mentioned it as well. Never mind.
Well,
I'm directing it to the group. What is your favorite Home Alone movie?
Oh, here
Only
we
counting
go.
1 and 2. The rest don't count. I
Ryan,
have
did you
a
say you like the
friend-
first one?
I do like the first one more.
Well, you do have a
don't know.
friend, Keith. Tell us about your
No,
friend.
I was going to say I have a friend that was almost in Home Alone 4. Fun fact.
Really, huh?
Really. He was going to get
Crazy.
abducted by an alien in that movie.
Really? Wow. Well, you know what the equivalent of being in Home Alone 4 is? It's not being in Home Alone 4 because nobody saw it.
So you said
But
you
Home
liked
Alone 1,
one.
I don't know. Nothing beats the original to me. I like just the whole concept. I don't know. I just thought it was good. I enjoyed Home Alone 2. I like Home Alone 2. I like the first one more. It's a true classic.
Real talk. The first 30 minutes of both movies are terrible. What matters is once you leave Macaulay Culkin alone, leave the kid alone, and then the movie gets good. The whole family, screw them. They don't matter. I like the second one. I enjoy the first one. I watch at least one of them every holiday, if not both movies. But I think there's something to the New York theme and all that that's very good. But most of my favorite scenes, individual scenes, do come from the first one. I remember the first one where Harry gets this spider on top of him, and then he starts yelling and going all crazy. That's one of my favorite parts. It's hilarious. Keith, you love
Home
spiders,
Alone
right?
2. Oh yeah, so much. They're my favorite. Not at all. But Home Alone 2 is probably my favorite of the two. And if anybody's going to watch the Home Alone movies this year, I invite you to change up your thinking a little bit and think about those movies as Kevin McAllister is basically Jigsaw in training in that movie, and just how messed up these scenarios are through that lens.
You would like that spin. I bet you love reading those like dark theories about Pokemon and stuff like that.
Oh, you mean like the ghost house or the ghost town, how it made people kill themselves. I love that.
Yeah.
It's so
Jesus,
good.
Jesus.
So thank you for the question.
This got dark really quickly.
It got real dark. And our final question of the show comes from Randy M., who asks, this is not very wrestling related, but you guys have mentioned in the past that you all love video games. I was wondering, What games are you all currently playing? What are some of your favorite video games from this year? Thank you for all the awesome work you do, and here's to an awesome 2017. Well, thank you.
So for me personally, the main games that I play are Blizzard games. It's Hearthstone and Overwatch. I pretty much almost exclusively play them at this point. So this year, I don't think I've played like a single new game. Well, Overwatch was released this year. So that's the only game this year that was released that I pretty much played, aside from World of Warcraft Legion when that came out. Yep, another Blizzard game. Are you surprised? One game I do really want to play, though, is The Last Guardian.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. For me, I'm playing a couple of different games. I have the tendency to never finish games, but the streams have helped a lot, although I have some upload issues right now, so that hasn't helped. But I have been playing Overwatch a lot. I have been playing Final Fantasy 15, World of Final Fantasy. I just got a PC upgrade a couple of weeks ago, so I believe I mentioned that on Twitter, and I got Doom and Hitman. Because, like, I care more about playing older games. Like, that's why I care about, collecting the GameCube wrestling games and all that. So I'm expecting a lot of retro gaming in my future for 2017. But yeah, Doom, Final Fantasy 15, and Overwatch are really the ones that I'm going to be focusing on. And I like now.
Yeah, games that I'm playing right now are mostly Hitman. God, this new Hitman is so good. And if you're into like stealth, crazy assassination games, it's the best. I recommend it. I'm dabbling a little bit in Doom right now, still playing a little bit of Overwatch every now and then, Hearthstone as well, though not nearly on the level of Ryan. I've gotten to a point where I mostly watch Hearthstone on things like Twitch, and that's good enough for me. And Hitman, as I mentioned, I'm kind of dabbling in some of the things that I missed or feel like I didn't play enough this year, like Stardew Valley. I'm starting to slowly play again, and on my phone, this has been all year at this point, but I am so addicted, so addicted to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I love that game so much. It's so good. I'm going to unlock Emperor Palpatine on Friday. I'm giddy about it. I'm so excited. I'm gonna shoot Force Lightning at everybody, and it's going to be great.
That's your Christmas gift, man.
It is my Christmas gift. Emperor Palpatine is my Christmas gift. And I'm almost about to level up Boba Fett. I've got him waiting in the wings, but I want to make sure I've got everything for the Emperor first. But Boba Fett's next. He's going to go on my Darth Vader team. It's some good stuff.
Yeah, so thank you, everybody. We got a ton of questions there. We've once again ran above the extended period of time for the podcast. But if this is an extended period of time, next week is just a little bit more, like a couple of hours more to be exact. But this is the last, really, if you think about it, Byte That podcast of the year, because next week is a whole different story. We'll be back in about 2 weeks. So any last comments before we say goodbye to 2016 on the podcast, guys? Any of them?
2016 was a heck of a year, and here's to an even better 2017. We'll grow, we'll live, we'll laugh, we'll love, we might even hate a little bit. You never know. But this was a great year, and this was a lot of fun to do it with you fine gentlemen. And here's to another fantastic year.
Yeah, aside from the year we actually started Byte That, this has probably been easily our most significant year just because of how we've had to adapt and change, because wrestling has changed so much this year. If you look at what WWE was at the beginning of the year versus what it is now, it's a pretty different ball game. So it's been a hell of a year, and moving to Wednesdays this year, I think was a blessing in disguise. We were very hesitant at first, but I think it worked out really well, and it's just been a fun year.
Yeah, the whole change. 2016 has been about all that stuff. We talk a little bit about the end. We talk about that at the end of the BT Awards as well. So we hope you guys look forward to that conversation. We've grown a lot as a channel, as a podcast. In many ways, you'll learn about what works, what doesn't, right? Like every now and then you may think, we should do a second trivia game. Maybe not. Maybe those things don't ever happen. But it's fun to think about and speculate about Ryan possibly being the host of things, not implying anything.
And doing such a bang-up job that we don't just look at that video and say, God, this should never see the light of day.
And it gets deleted.
Yeah.
Delete.
By the way,
delete.
I won that.
But
I won.
The
Yes.
world
Yeah.
can't know. The world can't know.
And the world will
if
never see it.
Yeah, if it doesn't exist, it never
I think
happened.
I accidentally deleted it. But anyway, this has been the Byte That podcast. So thank you guys for tuning in to another edition. Don't forget that next week we have essentially 6 hours of podcast content for you. YouTube, it's going to be separated by categories, and you'll get 3 videos every single day. And the audio feed is going to be split up into 3 parts, going up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So even though there won't be a traditional podcast next week, there is going to be like more than 3 times the content. So don't fret, you're gonna have plenty to listen to while you're traveling to your families during the holidays. So don't forget, also this Friday we will have up a video of
Friday?
Day of Reckoning.
Friday?
Oh, Saturday. I keep forgetting we moved it. Or what is it? What is it?
On the
Sunday?
weekend. It's on the weekend.
It's on the weekend. It's on the weekend. I'm sorry, we changed the format up a bit. I'm still a little screwed up on that. This weekend we have the Day of Reckoning thing, which is up now for early access on Patreon. So if you want to show your support for us, head over to patreon.com/bytethat. For as little as $1, you can see raw and uncut footage, a video version of the podcast, and you get early access at other tiers, which includes right now you could watch the Day of Reckoning video, and you can even see some of our year-end awards up now. So you can go check that out, patreon.com/bytethat. If you want to interact with us on social media, you can hit up our Twitter at ByteThatCast. You want to send us an email, that is bytethatcast@gmail.com. You want to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/ByteThat. So that's going to do it for the traditional podcast this year. We look forward to you guys checking out the year-end awards next week. And until then, we will see you next year. Have a wonderful holiday.